Hello, hello. Who have we got? Alex, nice to see you, mate. Paul, hello again. How are you doing? We've got Maria coming in now. Who else have we got there? Dalal, nice to see you again. Rob. Cool. So, hi, my name's Will. Just while we're waiting for people to come in, some of you have met already, 3 of you have met already, 2 of you haven't. Lovely to have you here. Would you mind dropping in the chat box your name, where you're from, whereabouts you're based, and what it is you specialise in, what it is that you do? Be wicked to hear who you all are and where you're all based. Hello, Dalal, welcome. So yeah, in the chat box, you have to find the icon down the bottom. Hello, Rob, you all right? How you doing, mate? In the car?
Yeah, I'm on my morning commute, so I might not hop in the chat, but
that's cool.
I'm in the US. I'm headed into the video production office. So I work with a company, 5 O'Clock Films, and they do videos for nonprofits mostly.
Awesome. All right, wicked to have you with us, man. Thanks for that little intro. Yeah. We've got Maria in Kentucky and doing commercial photography work. Very nice. Nice to see you again, Maria. Everyone else, Lee's coming in now. Brilliant. Dalal, based in Turkey, from Lebanon, do commercial video work. Lovely stuff. Nice to see you again, Dalal. Okay. We've got Paul doing commercial photography and video for tourism boards, travel and adventure brands based in Australia. Wicked. Nice to see you again, Paul. Lovely to have you on today. Okay, cool. I'll see if anyone else. Alex from New York of the UK, corporate and commercial video production and graphic design. Wicked. I think that's pretty much everyone. We haven't heard from Lee. Just jumped in. Morning, Lee. But yeah, feel free to drop that in the chat box. And let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. So we're going to try and keep this quite short and sweet, maximum sort of half an hour. There's a little bit of input required from you guys, give you some ideas, hopefully to take away with you today. So I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know. Can you see my screen okay? Okay, all right, nice. Let's get going. So the theme of this workshop today is to basically market less and make more, which might seem slightly counterintuitive advice from a marketer, but there you go. So this is what we're going to be covering today. And this is specifically for videographers, media agencies, photographers who also do video or who are thinking about adding video to what they do. So the purpose of this is many videographers and photographers often kind of feel like the answer to their prayers is clients with better budgets, bigger clients, all this kind of thing. And that's the only way to scale and really grow a media business. So of course we do need new leads all the time, and we need quality lead flow. And without that, businesses do fail. So we do need that. But we're going to look at this in another way today, about how we can sort of maximize the returns we get from each client, rather than this obsession with always filling our pipeline with new leads and this thing about our current clients not being enough, basically, for us to grow from where we're at the moment. Doing this, let me see if I can move this because it's annoying me. I think it's going to keep annoying me, is a way to allow us to basically build really profitable 6-figure plus media businesses, working with just a handful of quality clients that we actually like. And also to get rid of the consistency that often is just basically going with the territory. It's like part of the territory, really, with the creative industries. So first of all, who am I? My name is Will Henley. I am from the UK. I'm the founder of Will Henley Digital. I do marketing and business growth with business-to-business photographers, videographers, and content creators. So for the last 18 months exclusively, I've been focused on the B2B content creation space, as I have a strong background in arts and designs as well as education, and have seen an opportunity there to just help people that I am super aligned with achieve their goals and grow their ventures. Over the course of the pandemic, so we've worked with dozens of clients and helped them amass 6 figures, multiple 6 figures in new business, and build more sustainable, resilient and profitable video and photo businesses using simple and easy to manage strategies. So that's who I am. You can find out plenty of info from me on LinkedIn, and I'll show you some other places later on, but that is all you're going to hear about me for now. So the problem that a lot of people have within photo and video industries is there's a kind of sit and wait mentality. So creatives often feel like they kind of take a freelancer position rather than an innovator, proactive approach with the clients that we have and the companies that we're approaching, which means that we wait for clients to call us and tell us what they need rather than approaching things the other way round. This can lead to like a lot of inconsistency as client projects inevitably get completed sort of as and when in the business to business world. So we never know when the phone's going to ring, and we never really know when that email is going to drop into your inbox, right? Because there's so many things that can go wrong, supply chain issues, deadlines moving, and there's just no way to plan for it, basically. This is quite a stressful way to run a business when you don't know when things are going to happen. So we don't know when the next project's coming. We don't know how to then market consistently, plan for budget, manage finances, outsource, take on stuff, all those kind of things. It feeds into a lot of other issues. So I don't know if this is across the board. I'd be interested to hear your feedback just on these kind of points here. Is the inconsistency or any of these kind of issues, do they play into your client relationships? Do you know when and where the next project's coming from? And that kind of thing, or is it a little bit staggered and hard to predict? I'd love to hear from you in the chat box if any of those things are things you're experiencing at the moment. Let's see if I can actually see the chat box. But yeah, just a yes or a no or a maybe, some of them, anything, feel free to let me know. Let's see. Cool. So Paul, yeah, inconsistency is an issue for you. In what sense, Paul? When had you noticed any kind of patterns to it in terms of like seasonal or what's the? Feel free to take yourself off mute as well.
I'm a travel photographer who can't travel.
Right.
So,
okay. Shit. All right. So that's
most of my clients are outside of Western Australia, and many of them outside of Australia. I haven't been able to leave since March last year. So yeah.
Savage. So that aside, though, pandemic aside, is it quite easy to predict when leads are going to come in and when projects are going to come in, would you say?
No, not really.
Okay. All right. Alex is saying as well, probably guilty of sitting, waiting. Same here, guilty of sitting and waiting mentality. Okay, cool. I mean, I think we can all relate to that. Alex, yeah, did you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I think I'm relatively new to working for myself. I used to work for a company and we had a sales team. So they were the ones who went out and actually said, spoke to clients and fed all the work to me. So it was all sort of done for me. So it's a bit, it's an unfamiliar, I suppose, for me to actually have to do that for myself now and actually, go out and talk to people.
Got you. Yeah, it's a scary prospect, I think, for a few times around for sure. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot for sharing that, man. So for another question for you. So at the moment, what kind of, this is really frustrating me, these little thumbnails. Let me make them smaller. I don't know if you can see them or not. So what kind of contents do you make most for your business clients at the moment? And what do they use it for? So what's the most kind of common content you make? What do people mostly ask for? And again, what are they using that for? What kind of purpose? And I'd love to hear in the chat box again quickly. I'll just give you a minute. Okay, so we've got social media ads, probably quite a common one. Social media website use, digital content, okay. Social media, TV, Lee, food and beverage photos used in social media, internally printed newsletters. Okay, so a lot of social media coming up, a lot of kind of like top of funnel content, magazines and travel guides, Paul. Okay, cool. Okay, so the overwhelming thing seems to be, we've got John Wilmans entering the chat. There he is. Social media and website use, some internal communications as well. Okay, something a little bit different. So the overriding theme, I would say, is social media there, with some other little bits sprinkled in as well. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot for sharing that, guys. So the fact is, many business problems can be solved using a camera, specifically a video camera, and the right kind of strategic problem-solving approach. A lot of these solutions might be new solutions. So they might be things that nobody's doing, or they might be things that you're not doing, or there might be things that your clients aren't even aware of. The key here is diagnosing business problems and tying content to specific business outcomes that will save clients time, money, and or energy in their business, okay? And using this, as we're going to look at today, to build it in around the kind of content you were all just talking about. So the stuff that you're talking about, social media content, more creative content, okay, going to keep that. All businesses need that, but we can actually start to build in other videos that we offer so that we can increase the revenue that we're getting from each client and also build a more sustainable, less replaceable service. Excuse me, losing my voice. Okay, so scenario one, let's have a look at example. So there's a client of yours that's a business and it has a high staff turnover because new employees don't really understand the requirements or the demands of the job or the workplace environment. And as a result, they're losing time and money in HR, the company is. There are huge knock-on effects to the rest of their business because they're having to train and retrain people again and again and again. And just in general, it's causing them stress and it's making them lose time and it's making them lose money. So what could a potential solution be for this? How could we potentially pitch a video to this client to help them with this problem? Again, in the chat box, if you got any ideas, no worries if you don't. We'll have a look at some of my solutions in a sec, but I'd love to hear if anyone has any ideas about something either you're using at the moment that could help with this, or just a solution that we could maybe offer. Let's see. I can never see the chat box. This is well annoying. There we go. So yeah, I'll give you 1 minute just to think about it and do. All right, we've got one in the chat box. Cool, Maria. Wicked. Okay, so maybe a video showing a positive company culture to attract the right kind of collaborative person to the job. Paul, onboarding video series with branches of videos specific to the role. Okay, brilliant. So using video as part of the onboarding process, definitely. Maria, so would you mind taking yourself off mute? The video that you mentioned, so a video showing a positive company culture, when do you think would be a good time to show this to people?
Oh, you were talking about employee retention?
So retention, yes, but basically like in taking on the wrong kind of employees who don't really get the workplace culture, exactly like you've kind of addressed in your video, yeah. Don't get the job.
So I happen to be currently reading Richard Branson's The Virgin Way, where he talks a lot about a collaborative company culture and something that's not like siloed and hierarchically structured, and just showing a company culture that is collaborative and likes to entertain everybody's ideas so that they attract somebody who is ready to put forth their ideas and doesn't want to just sit in an office and get their paycheck or something like that. You know, somebody who's ready to bring things to the table.
Got you.
I guess.
Wicked. I think it's, yeah, really good idea. And I think, yeah, Paul, you almost nailed it as well. Like, so what I would do in this situation is actually probably have some kind of video content to qualify and educate people that apply for the job in the way that Maria mentioned, but before the interview that they watch, so that you can make sure people understand what they're actually in for, and you can make sure that people are repelled who aren't the right fit before the company actually puts any time or money into this, and just make things a lot more efficient and save them potentially hundreds of personnel hours over the course of 6 months to a year, and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars as well as a result, because it costs money to train people up for a position. So scenario 2, a business is wasting a lot of time on consultations with possible customers who aren't a fit for the products or the services they offer. The result is they're just getting frustration. They're getting frustrated as it's damaging their mindset, it's costing them time, it's costing them money, and they're just repeating themselves. So again, what could we do here with video to potentially offer some sort of solution to this problem? Again, I'd love to hear from people in the chat box if you have any ideas. If not, do not worry. Cool, we've got one idea, yes. Okay, wicked. So John Wilmans. So you could do a frequently asked question type video on a SharePoint type thing, which recovers the requirements and funnel type videos targeted at potential clients at different levels of the funnel to pre-qualify them. Brilliant. Videos that address popular client questions. Bang on. So this is exactly what I would do in this instance, you two, Maria and John. You just nailed it, I think. So short videos or videos that show the key products or services that people offer and who they're a good fit for, who they aren't, and answer these sort of like common questions, right? And this gets delivered to potential buyers or clients before they come to the store, before they go to the consultation, however they're selling. I mean, this will be different again for product or service-based clients. But what it's all about is just giving their customers a crystal clear picture of what they're purchasing, how it's going to help them, who it's for, who it's not for, before they even come into a sales environment, and then gets rid of people who aren't a good fit before they even waste the sales team time or take any company time. So yeah, you guys are bang on with the money there. I've got somebody else. Yeah, Alex explaining video saying exactly what they do. Again, perfect. Yep. And Maria, video montage of services. Yes, definitely. And again, I think the key thing, so all of these are absolutely bang on, but it's about when they're delivered. So it's kind of taking that active role and saying to clients like, okay, so we need this video. At the moment, you've got it on your website. That's not really going to do the job, actually. You need to make sure that it gets sent at point of contact directly to the client before they come to the consultation, before they click through to the purchase, whatever it might be, and make sure that they're watching it at that point so that you can do it in the most efficient way possible. So this is what I mean in the sense that it might be something that like you're kind of doing already or clients are kind of doing already, but it's about where we're putting it and how we're phrasing it and the outcomes that we're tying it to. That's really where the money is at, basically. But those are all really good ideas, everyone. So yeah, the application for this is basically endless. So you can look at sales processes, which is kind of what we talked about just now. Qualifying, saving time, building trust, building authority, educating people around common objections. We can use it in marketing processes to reduce ad spend and those kind of things. We can do it in the hiring, recruitment and training processes, internal processes, fundraising. It really is infinite once you get into this. As long as you're thinking in a strategic way, diagnosing client problems, saving them time, saving them money, saving them stress, saving them energy, then you can apply your video camera in pretty much any way you desire. It's really quite exciting actually when you start getting into it. So using this approach, we have helped multiple photo and video businesses transition from literally zero in some cases projects to a full pipeline in about 4 to 8 weeks. Generated 6 figures in new and repeat business for a range of photo and video clients during the pandemic across industries, all the industries you can imagine really, and helped dozens of talented video and photographers break into new markets quickly and double down on the clients that they already have by making them a really indispensable asset. So any questions at this point? I'm kind of rushing through it and that's quite quick, but let me know if you've got any questions quickly in the chat box or anything you want clarifying. And there's a couple of other bits we'll go through before we wrap up. So do let me know if you've got any questions. I can't actually see anybody at the moment, apart from Paul. No, all clear. Okay, as long as we're all clear, I'll just smash on to the next bit. So I think, here we go, we've got a question. How do you approach clients and find their problem in a non-salesy way? Okay, that's a really good question. I mean, the best way to be non-salesy is to be non-salesy and just be authentic and be yourself. Come from a position of trying to help somebody rather than trying to sell to somebody, and see if your solution is a good fit for that person. That's the best way to be non-salesy. You go with an open mind. It's like, okay, I just want to have a chat and find out about some of the problems that you may, or find out about what's going on for you guys at the moment. And just approach it from that position. Yeah, you're not trying to sell, you're trying to listen, you're trying to diagnose. And if it so happens you can solve that problem with your camera, you both win. If not, go your separate ways. So I think it's about having that mindset personally of, yeah, the problem solver, and having an open mind going into those scenarios. Like, this is what I think I can do. Would you be interested in seeing if it would be a good fit for you as well? And just keeping the conversation really authentic, transparent, and keeping it non-salesy. So does that kind of make sense? I think it's like comes from your approach and comes from your mentality. People who are always looking to sell will always come across as salesy, and people who are authentic and trying to help will come across as if they're authentic and trying to help. So that's my 2 cents on that. But it also takes practice as well. So as mentioned, this doesn't really exclude doing more creative work for clients. It's something that you can use to open a conversation and get more revenue from the clients that you are working with already. But it doesn't mean that you're not necessarily going to be offering the full service, promotional content, social media content, etc. This should definitely be offered and definitely be either upsold to or brought into the equation at some point, because every company needs it. But this approach helps to fill the gaps with clients that you have already, bring more consistency into it. It also gives you a really unique selling point for new clients and existing clients, because basically nobody else approaches video in this way. They just say, hey, do you want a promotional video for your social media? And clients either say yes, or prospects say either yes or no. So you've suddenly got a unique place in the market, and it makes you really difficult to replace, because you're approaching things strategically. You're solving massive problems, valuable problems for your client in a way that a new media agency or a new videographer isn't going to be able to do. So it gives you a lot more security, and it gives you a lot more consistency when you start thinking in these ways. And like I said, the sky is really the limit. If you can solve valuable enough problems again and again and again in different areas of a client's business, they're going to keep buying from you, because they'll have trust. You'll be able to demonstrate the results of what you do. And there's no reason why you can't basically move on and keep solving more valuable problems for them. Final note here, it's also content. So this kind of strategic content is really good because it's something that you can repurpose as a further upsell. So you could take a video, for example, an induction video or a workplace culture video, and it might be sort of 10, 20 minutes long. Chop it into tiny bits, use it on social media, transcribe it, use it on a blog, all of these other things you can repurpose for them and get like tons of mileage out of this stuff as an upsell to clients, existing clients or new clients that you approach with these services. So yeah, the sky is the limit, as I've said a few times. I won't repeat myself. It's just about being proactive, taking the lead, being almost a doctor, like diagnosing the problems, showing the clients what they need rather than them just telling us what they need when they need it. And you can begin with a small problem, move on to the next, diagnosing as you go, as long as the allows we were talking about is always in the client's best interest, all right? And approaching it honestly and authentically as a problem solver and a solution, rather than a salesperson just looking to completely rinse every client for everything you can. If it's a new piece of content that they're not doing, you can always treat this as a case study where you kind of approach them and say, look, I think this is going to really help you do this. Can we try it out? I'll just charge for my time maybe in this instance, and then we're going to measure the results. And then in future, I can move on to sell that to other people. So that's possible as well if you're not necessarily sure that you can solve the problem in that way, but you want to try and solve it with your camera. And again, some of these might not necessarily be new. They might just not be tied to specific outcomes yet. So you might be making content that's similar to this already. Clients might be, for example, they might have an About Us video, which is very, very similar to one of the ones we talked about. But it just hasn't really been applied strategically yet. And it's just sat on their website and no one's actually really watching it. And, just by reframing it, incorporating some more strategic questions and some workplace culture stuff and putting it in their sales process, you can charge a lot more. You can solve a much bigger problem with it, and then you can move on from there and start solving even more valuable problems. Okay, so if you're not sure which questions to ask, and I'm going to drop this in the chat box, you can grab the research sheet that my clients use to define these kind of problems for all their clients. So let me just come out of screen share a minute. So you can grab this kind of ideal customer profile, which gets into these kind of questions. If you jump into my 5-figure client club video, group over here. So I'll drop the link to this in the chat box for anyone who's not in it already. So do feel free to jump in there and I'll happily shoot you a copy of this. And obviously, if you do want to get some support with stuff, you found this sort of thing useful, giving you some ideas, and it's something that you kind of want to look at in more depth, then of course, please do feel free to reach out, and I'll put my call booking link in the chat box too, for anyone that feels like they want help maximizing the value of their existing clients, as well as getting their foot in the door with new ones using the kind of approaches that we've looked at today and others. So any questions from anybody at all about what we've just seen? Feel free to drop it in the chat box or take yourself off mute if you've got a burning question about anything. I'd love to hear from any of you what you've thought of that. Let me stop sharing a minute. So yeah, any final questions before we wrap things up? Thank you for taking time to do this. Thank you for coming, Dalal. Really nice to see you. Cool. No problem at all, everybody. Really, really nice to have you here. Quick question. Yes, give me some ideas. But yeah, if you ever want to kind of brainstorm those ideas as well, just feel free to reach out about how you can start to apply this to actually your clients' businesses. Because I know, for example, Paul, your clients are going to be experiencing very different challenges to, for example, somebody who's working in a more like corporate office-based sphere or something like that. So yeah, if you ever kind of want to bounce those ideas off, then please do feel free to reach out. All right, if that's it, if there's no questions, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you all, and I hope to see you again. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and yeah, catch you very soon. Cheers, guys.